probably the greatest thing ever that I discovered.
Does it kind of just pop into your head, or do you have some process to do that?
It's literally a flamethrower. I'm like, oh, really? It's a flamethrower.
Oh,
Like, for people who want to find sound effects, just YouTube gives them out for free.
how exactly did you get into stop motion? And then more specifically, Army Men stop motion.
All these geniuses never see that someone else has already pointed it out
Yeah.
for the 500th time.
Well, you know what they say, the comment section is always right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to yet another episode in the JaCobra show. And today is a very special episode because we have a special guest star joining us. It is a man who needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyways. He is known as the head of the Imperial Ministry of Media and Propaganda. Some people call him the leader of Army Men. I call him the General. Welcome, General Moe. How are you doing today?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing quite well.
Thank you so much for being on the show. And I know you can't see me right now, but I am actually wearing one of your Teespring t-shirts. I am wearing the Mean Green Tanker, I believe what it's called, t-shirt. And I must say it's very comfortable. And did you design all those yourself?
Yes, I did all the designs myself. That's and that mean green one is a recent one. I'm glad to hear that you purchased your own Teespring shirt. I have a store, by the way, as I must shill for the dollar.
So I would recommend, for those of you watching this, go check out his Teespring store. It's also on YouTube. Is there any other places they can find you or support you at all?
So obviously I've got a Discord that's very active. Lots of good creators are on there. We love sharing videos of our work, and you can find plenty of other Army creators on there as well. I have a DeviantArt and Newgrounds account where I post my art and other such things. And hopefully soon I'll have a webcomic going focused around Army Men, but that's all under wraps for the moment.
Ooh, little sneak peek. All right. So today we are watching your video, Army Men Attack the Trench. And before we start watching that, I just wanted to ask you a couple questions. The first thing, how exactly did you get into stop motion? And then more specifically, Army Men stop motion.
It's hard to pin down because I've always been into animations, into things like that. And stop motion, I watched because a lot of TV shows I used to watch. I know nowadays everything's like CGI and stuff like that, but a lot of TV shows I used to watch were done in stop motion. Pingu, Bob the Builder, Wallace and Gromit. And when I saw that people on YouTube, actually it was before YouTube, it was on the old Lego website. They had on the Lego Star Wars page a stop motion contest around the time Revenge of the Sith came out. And so I was like, oh, wow, look, these people have made videos of Lego Star Wars. And the idea that you could just use your Lego figures, your toys and stuff like that to animate was probably the greatest thing ever that I discovered. So I had to make my own. And I loved playing with plastic Army Men. And when I discovered that there was a whole bunch of Army Men videos on YouTube, those were some of the first videos I saw on YouTube. And that was to my utter delight. So I was like, yes, I had to do this. I had to do it.
One more question specifically about this video. Do you remember, I know this was a couple of years ago, but what gave you the idea for this video? You just want to do another Army Men video? Is that, or was there something else?
Okay, so the background to this video was we were going on a holiday, my family. I live in Western Australia, and we have off our coast a small island. It's not super small, but it's got a settlement on it, and it's a very popular holiday spot. No one lives on there permanently, really, and there's all these beachside cabins and stuff like that. So we stayed in one of those, and we was there for 2 weeks. And I've done a little bit of filming there before, but this time I was like, we're there for 2 weeks, so I'm gonna get a film done because it's a very sandy place. I'm like, it was a holiday, just use the time to make a film while I'm down there. And it is utterly remarkable that I managed to get this film created in 2 weeks,
Yeah,
considering that I had, like, an hour's filming time each day. Because every day we'll be out riding bikes, all kinds of stuff like that. And, so to get this thing at, like, what? It's, like, 16 minutes or something like that?
something around there. Yeah.
It's amazing that this got done. I had recently, because it was around December, I think, gotten for Christmas a large amount of Army Men fortifications and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm just going to bring a whole bunch of stuff over to the island and I'm going to film a attacking a fortress video. That's what I'll do.
That's awesome. It's so interesting to learn about what goes into the process. It's actually really funny because I talked about my first ever video in the last episode, which you should check out if you haven't, people watching this. But in that video, I actually filmed my first video on vacation as well. It's really funny. We actually went to a hotel kind of place and we were there for a really long time. And so I just decided to bring some army men and film. And so that's awesome. I guess the lesson here is the best place to film army men videos is on vacation. So there we go.
It just goes to prove that they're very malleable. You can film them anywhere you want.
Yeah.
So don't feel like you need a big fancy set or anything like that.
All right, without further ado, let's get going with the video.
You see that there, Captain? Yes, that there, that green fortress. We must break into it. I am not going to lie, it is a mighty fortress containing many, many defenses.
Okay, first of all, that is one heck of a fortress. To do that in the 2 weeks on vacation, that's pretty incredible. How long did that take you to set up?
Um, the full thing, I only had to set it up once, and then I filmed it a few times. Because when you make an Iron Man film or a film in general, you don't film like everything in order. Like I sort of filmed it in order, but I knew in advance what sets I wanted, like what I would need in advance. So I this was like the big proper setup of the fortress. And it didn't take long. I mean, it's just digging out a small trench and then just slapping a whole bunch of stuff around it. Trenches filled with soldiers, tank batteries and pillboxes, and mighty artillery pieces. All of this lies between us and our target, the Green General. His mere existence is a taunt to us. We must get up there and put a bullet through his skull, sending him...
Okay, so that's you doing all of the voice acting, right? Because I know you switch around your voices. Is that you mostly?
Yes, I do. I do, but I also have a few other people that join me. I think the main one is Mick Animations, who
Yep.
did the Tan Commissar. I loved his Tan Commissar so much, I brought him back for Lego versus Army Men.
And don't forget the cannon arms that decimated my platoons. They must have been using some pretty big rounds.
Alright, men, plan is very simple. We are just gonna have Death or Glory charge across the plains. All of you will leave trenches at the same time. Oh, Colonel, this guy's voice sort of swapped over slightly. I completely forgot the first accent he had for that first scene where he's explaining the fort, and then it sort of slipped over into a generic foreigner accent. Oh, Colonel, do you think we should be packing jumpers? Because I'm gonna get a bit cold out there due to how exposed we will be. Get it?
Colonel, Private Will here is going to be at the head of the charge.
Ah, dang. Good to see such willing volunteers. Captain, can you go and assemble the rest of your men? Yes, sir.
Diving into the more technical aspects a little bit. So I see you have their feet placed in kind of the sand there. I've never really had the chance to do that because I feel more on like carpet and hardwood. Is that something that you do a lot? And does that make it really easy to move around the characters?
Yeah, when it also gradually sort of like when you move them around, they gradually sort of bury themselves into the floor. But having the base sort of like planted underneath some soil acts as a good anchor.
What frames per second do you usually use? Does it fluctuate at all, or do you have like one set number that you use?
For Army Men, I stick to 12 frames per second. Army Men they're very different from a Lego figure or something like that. They don't have any moving parts. So I can get away more with just having a lower frame rate. It's very efficient. Um, it looks good. It doesn't need to be super smooth or anything like that, and it's easy to work with. For army men, that's what I've just been using, just 12 frames per second.
Yeah, that's one thing I really like about Army Men too, is that you can't really bend any of their limbs like Lego guys, so it's a lot easier, and then yeah, you can get away with that FPS trick.
The Colonel sure isn't giving us an easy time to take this fort. I mean, look at the terrain. It's just nothing but flat expanse.
Well, yes, it is your duty
So
to cross
quickly,
that
for
open
that
plain.
scene where they're walking down the trench, they knock over a bazooka guy, and it's probably if you go in the comment section of this video, it's like half of the comments is people just saying, "Oh, look, they knocked over the bazooka guy."
That's funny.
I think all these comments get buried underneath the thing because all these geniuses never see that someone else has already pointed it out
Yeah.
for the 500th time.
Well, you know what they say, the comment section is always right. So that's one thing with my video. I don't know if you've ever done this, but the flamethrower troops, I had them fire bullets in one of my videos, and
Oh yeah, they love pointing that out. They love
I,
it. They love
I
pointing it out.
never
They're
heard
like,
that.
"It's actually a flamethrower." I'm like, "Oh really? Is it a flamethrower?"
Oh, well, they give us like two of the shooting guys in the pack, so I got to use some other guys to shoot the bullets too. But yeah, that's funny. I'm glad
Yeah.
that the comment section does that to you as well.
Yes, it is your duty to cross that open plain, all exposed, while I enforce discipline from the safety of the back. Yes.
These towns are gathering in strength, yes? I think we must bombard them to prevent any attack. Open fire!
Where do you get your special effects from?
It's an app, two apps. One is called Gun Movie Effects, and the other one is called Pyro Movie Effects. You both pay for them, because, you know, you can't be for free. Not everything can be for free, but
Yeah.
they're not super expensive apps. They're just like a few dollars or whatever. It's like buying a candy bar, pretty much.
Yep.
Except this lasts longer than a candy bar. It's a good investment. Very simple sort of app to use. I mean, it does have its limitations. The explosion effects aren't the greatest, but it works well for what I need and want, and it's all done on the iPad, and then I edit the rest of the video on my laptop. Huh, would you look at that? Craters everywhere. Blimey, this may make things a bit easier. Captain, the Colonel was hit by an artillery shell, and he's pretty dead. Oh well, no time to pretend being sad.
So one thing about this video, I don't know if you know, Mo, but it's really funny. And so I was kind of wondering, do you write out a script at all beforehand? And how do you get inspired for your humor? Does it kind of just pop into your head, or do you have some process to do that?
There's no real process, it's just what I think is funny at the time. I don't write a script I haven't written a script for this one. I had to afterwards to get all the voice lines and stuff. But generally, I don't write a script, and it's all just improvised. Some of the jokes is like, you know, like they're not gonna mourn about their officer who's got this terrible idea and stuff like that. It's just a sort of straightforward, sort of dry humor, I guess. I love irony, and I
Mhm.
love a kind of like stuff. This actually helps us a bit. Now that we have more favorable terrain, we can alter the plan.
Hang on a moment. No, no, no. You are not bailing out of this siege.
Like a bunch of cowards waiting for the right moment to get out of this godforsaken attack.
Commissar, if you stop projecting your own insecurities upon me, I didn't actually say anything about retreating. We're just gonna advance a bit differently. You'll see. Okay, sappers, start digging.
Okay, one more thing. That filming with having the minesweepers as shovels, that's great, because I never have an idea to use for the minesweeper, so that's a really great idea for shoveling. And then another question I had is, so you're filming outside here, were you ever affected by rain or anything, or how do the shadows come into play? Does that bother you at all? Or do you kind of just figure out a way to work around it?
So this was an Australian summer, which means, first of all, there was absolutely no rain to contend with. The weather was consistent every day. I would have to film in either the morning or the afternoon when there was like a perfect sort of shadow over the area I was filming. I never filmed in the area when direct sunlight was on top of it. Pretty much very quickly figured out what times were ideal for filming, and that's when I would jump on the opportunity.
I know we already touched on the special effects and like the gunshots a little bit, but how long does that usually take you? Because it takes me forever. And then going along with the gunshots, where do you get your sound effects for those said gunshots and explosions and whatever from? Is it from that same app or is there some other place?
No, I do not use the gun sound effects in the app because they're not very good.
Hmm.
And have all my a majority of my sounds were provided to me by a very good mate of mine online called Aiden Hickey. He has a YouTube channel where he did a few Army Men stop motions before in the past. He pretty much had like all these video game sounds and stuff like that that he collected up, and he just handed me so many sounds, which is pretty much why he has a sort of permanent credit at the end of every single one of my videos. Yeah, he's the one that gave me all these sounds. They're like from Battlefield games and stuff like that. And he also he gave them to most of the Plastic Apocalypse team. So you can hear, if you listen to Plastic Apocalypse, you can hear some of the same gun sound effects as well that he uses in there, like in Sabretooth and stuff like that. So we've all shared the same sort of sound files. Holy shit, we're getting chilled up out here. We're just gonna have to hold out until the western sector is reached. We need reinforcements in the east trenches. Come on. Guys, we need some reinforcements in the east trenches. Come with me. That's it, lads. Keep on digging. We'll get there soon. You see, Commissar, with these tunnels, we're able to pass through undetected and get reinforcements through safely. We're getting close now, lads.
I really like your music there, and I know you don't use it a whole lot, at least in this one, but music is something that I kind of struggle with too, and it's always hard to find the perfect kind of song that fits the theme that you're trying to go for. Do you have a specific place that you get your music from, or do you have someone that makes it for you, or how does that whole process work for you?
Yeah, like you said, music is always usually a struggle. Um, the Armament films get away with having a bit less music than normal. But this song is called Death March, and it's actually from YouTube. The YouTube free audio library has tons of songs in it. You need to search for a lot of stuff that probably doesn't fit your tastes. But yeah, that's definitely an asset. That's just like for people who want to find sound effects. Just YouTube gives them out for free, pretty much. There's tons of sounds on there. Now I've on my Discord I made there's some guys who make music. They make their own music, and I've been using their stuff a bit more recently. We've got Plastic Army Man Productions. He has been making Army Man songs for free on his channel. You can go and actually look on his channel right now and see a whole bunch of Army Man tunes and songs that you can use in your videos just for the background. So I definitely recommend going to him. There's also Samp. Samp, he used to be known as Samp Motion. He's provided a few bits of music to me at the moment, and he's just recently revamped his channel to start working solely on music. So in the future, he'll probably have a few tunes out that people can probably try and use or something like that.
Back in the day when I had no idea what I was doing, I used a couple of copyrighted songs, just had no idea what I was doing. But then thankfully YouTube allows you to go in there and replace that audio with something that YouTube has provided. So definitely recommend, especially if you don't know what you're doing like I didn't, and use a copyrighted sound.
I used copyrighted music, but that was mainly because I didn't care about my videos being monetized at the point. Some of the videos nowadays, like a few of them, have copyrighted music, but I don't really care to remove it or anything like that. I'm just happy to let them be. They're not super huge videos that, are going to be a detriment or anything.